Hi there, I'm Eric Wordweaver Sjerven, Gothi of the Ridgar tribe here in East Texas. I'd like to welcome you to the Raven's Call. This is a show where I ramble on about different heathen-related subjects, just kind of whatever strikes my fancy, sets my mind on fire at the time. Big UPG warning at the beginning of this, like always. This is just the viewpoints of one heathen here, doing what he does in the middle of nowhere. And, I guess I've got decades of experience, but this is my interpretation on things. I am by no means a definitive anything authority-wise as far as heathenry goes. I have my people like what I do, so I continue to do that. You guys seem to like what I share on YouTube, so I continue to do that. But these conversations are meant to be just that. Conversation starters, get you thinking outside the box. I'm big on sovereignty of hearth and tribe. Not my hall, not my call. You guys know the deal. So anyway, onwards and upwards. Some housekeeping stuff at the beginning. As you guys know, life has been crazy. So much so that I am having extremely difficult times getting time set aside to film. Because it's not just like, and I know the episodes are like 30 minutes long. That doesn't seem like that long. Surely he's got 30 minutes to sit aside and do a thing. But it's not just that. It's prep work, it's uploading, it's editing. It's not that I do a lot of editing, but still I have to like compress file size because I'm working on my rural internet, which is really horrible, and that takes a lot of time. And just being able to sit down in front of the camera for 30 to 45 minutes and be able to do that, and it's a difficult thing right now. So I'm trying. This is going to be a little bit shorter episode today as a result, but that's okay. I will work my way back up to more full length things as my job stuff progresses through. For those of you that have been following the channel, yes, I have started a new job recently, and the new job has got me deep in training, and training runs for like 15 weeks. It's ridiculous. So I'm nearing the end of it. But during that period of time, I'm either glued to my computer doing training stuff like 8.5 hours a day kind of thing, or I'm in the field doing stuff. And so once all of this irons out, I should be able to kind of hit my stride again and figure out more of a routine time to film and be able to get some things back up on the channel. Maybe I can go back to the every other week thing that I was doing before. I'd like that more so than this once a month if I'm lucky kind of thing. Not groovy, so bear with me, I'm getting there. I thought I was going to be back in the saddle last time, and then things got really rolling on the trading, and I just have not been able to get there. Which brings me to another development as far as the channel goes. I have branched out as far as my media goes. Some of you have already found me over there, but I have joined the Clock app, TikTok, if you're not up with the lingo. I did jump up on TikTok. The idea behind it was to be kind of an experiment to see if there was an audience over there for my subject matter, and if there was, how receptive would they be? Would it be like horribly toxic? Would it just go completely ignored? And then my first video that I put up there went kind of, I won't say viral, but it went big. It's up to like 28,000 views or something like that, which is by no means viral when it comes to TikTok because they get up into the millions of views. And so, but it did hit a big enough audience that I'm up to, I think at the time of this filming, I'm literally at 3,999 followers. I haven't broken 4,000 yet, but I'm about to, which is more than I've got here on YouTube. And I've been doing the YouTube channel now for about, 4 years? And the TikTok I've had up and running for a couple of weeks now at best. So yeah, it's interesting to see the markets, although you guys are by far more engaged and are definitely in for the long haul. I mean, you're like what I view as my seriously engaged audience, because you've been with it for a while, you pay attention, you've got deep questions and give me some really great content to go into, and we get to have these like hour-long conversations here. Whereas with the TikTok, it's like I'm like dangling treats in front of newbie heathens going, hey, there's more information over here, come see it. So the idea is just to jump out there, because I know there's a lot of toxicity when it comes to things like Norse Talk and some of the others, at least from what I've seen and from what I've been told. And the idea was that I just wanted to let people out there know that there's normal people doing heathen things too. It doesn't have to all be face paint and, Till Valhalla and all this other stuff. You can, be normal and just average Joe Blow doing heathenry, and moms, dads, kids, whatever it be, every walk of life. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm shooting for there. So anyway, it's also a challenge because you guys know me, the rambling, wordy bastard, and you give me a format where it's like my long form is 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Long form. And nobody sees the long form ones because the algorithms don't like long videos. So a minute seems to be my sweet spot. And I have to take whatever I'm going to do and like drive it down into a minute. It's ridiculous. It literally takes me like 20 or 30 takes because I'm trying to just fit everything in there without being just like rapid fire scream at the camera. It's like, how can I make this my normal flow but still get all of the pertinent information that I want in there? And then it forces me to reevaluate what is like actually important to the point that I'm trying to make. And yeah, it's a challenge. It's interesting, especially for a guy who likes to ramble like I do. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's an experiment. It's by no means meant to replace the YouTube channel. It's simply an extra side thing. So if you haven't found me over there yet, search it out. It's Eric Word Weaver Sjerven. I think it's Eric Word _ Weaver Sjerven, whatever. You should be able to find me. I think I tagged a couple of my early videos with Raven's Call and Word Weaver, so if you try to look for those hashtags, you may be able to find me that way too. But other than that, I'm on the Norse Talk thing pretty regular. I try to algorithm stuff, blech. But figuring it out, trying it out, going to see what we do. So with that, that's kind of the gist of things. The job thing, obviously, you guys know I can't talk about what I do. Due to confidentiality reasons, but it is a state job, so that is why there's confidentiality things at play, which is why I'm not going to talk much about work on the channel, just to let you guys know where I am in the grand scheme of things and what all's going on. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the upcoming winter nights, because it's that time of year again, guys. It is time for winter nights. It is time for the thinning of the veil. And I've talked about it on the channel before, and I'll come back to it frequently. When you get up into the 200 episode range, you get redundant with things. So especially when I haven't had a whole lot of time to prep anything, but I just genuinely wanted to jump back on here and say, hey guys, I haven't forgotten you. So happy winter nights. It's coming up. The thinning of the veil. My view on winter nights is that this is the period of time of year where the veil begins to thin. Now, a lot of people will say that the veil is thinnest during this time of year. I actually don't see it that way. I see the veil beginning to thin now. I feel like this is the time where things begin to come in. But you'll notice in a lot of cultures, they're like Day of the Dead, a lot of the like Halloween, Samhain type celebrations occur all throughout from mid-October through to the end of Yule. And one of the main focuses, like my tribe begins Yule with Mother's Night, which is a time when we feel like we worship our female ancestors, our Disir, more heavily. That's our main focus for that night, is the mothers of our lines, to honor them. And we'll do, throughout that period of time, we'll do something special for the fathers, and just generally the ancestors begin to come a lot more in focus during this time of year, because the veil seems to begin thinning right at or before winter nights, or winter finding, as some people will call it, and will continue on through until Yule. And at the end of Yule is about the time that I feel like it starts to shore up. But like the seasons, it's not like a hard set date kind of thing. It's not like, boom, curtains are open, show's on, let's go. It's a gradual thing, you know. It's the ebb and flow. It doesn't go from 90 degrees consistently one day to like 72 degrees consistently the next day. Now, if you live in Texas, it may go 92 degrees to 72 degrees, but then it's going to go like 87, and then like 63, and then like 95. So yeah, it's ridiculous when it comes to Texas and our weather. But the gist here being that I have to keep checking my time because I'm on lunch and I only have so long. So the gist here being is that the veil is thinnest during this time of year, and it makes our ancestors more accessible to us than ever before. And I'm going to kind of pull together a lot of things that I've talked on the channel before, because this is a period of time where I see a lot of focus, especially with newbie heathens, and it's painfully obvious looking at some of the TikTok side of things, that there's a super big focus on the gods and the relationship with the gods. And I think largely because a lot of the general in more out there neo-paganry is more neo-pagan as opposed to being more heathen. There is a differentiation, as we've talked about before, as far as general approaches and where they fall as far as historical versus kind of wide open. I am more on the heathen side of things than the Norse pagan side of things. I count that a little more towards the neo-pagan and off into the realm where we're going to start getting into some of the Wicked True elements. Not to say that all Norse pagans are in the Wicked True thing. Don't read me wrong on that. It's just a different approach, and it's not my approach. So my approach is more of the heathen thing. And this causes me to look at some different elements differently than some of the younger generation on their will, who are just learning, who are just figuring out, and who are all gung-ho about relationship with the gods. I am glad they are, because that's an important part. That's the religious element of heathenry. I'm waiting for them to discover some of the deeper elements and watch that begin to grow and develop. That's where some of the neat stuff happens. And because of that, Winter Nights is a time where I really like to drive that home, because we owe everything to our ancestors. Our ancestors, whether you like them or not, you don't have to like your ancestors. You don't have to have gotten along with them, but you still owe them. If they hadn't made the choices that they did when they did, you would not be alive. They may have been horrible people, but you still owe them your life, because if they hadn't decided to get with who they did when they did, or made the decisions that kept them alive to the point where they did what they did, you probably wouldn't be here. I mean, just the way that Orlog works, everything that came before makes up who you are now. And at least it informs who you are now, and your actions and deeds going through Weird continue to tell that story. They are the back chapters, and we can't change that. What's in the well is in the well. What's done is done. And it's like what is. What is becoming is still becoming. So Urd is set in stone. Vertandi is molding the clay. The clay is on the wheel kind of thing. And then Skuld is drawing, not even drawing, Skuld is dreaming. That's the dreams. That's the it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't come into being. So it's ephemeral. It's a million different things that it could be. And not until we put it on paper, not until we form it into a sculpture, not until it coalesces into drips and falls into the well, is it what it is. So that's where we are in this moment, living our lives, telling the story that our ancestors set the stage for. They wrote the backlog. They wrote the backstory. They wrote the original chapters that led to our getting here. And it's all an ongoing process. And I love that. I love that, because I don't necessarily agree with the decisions of all of my ancestors, because we have tracked back our ancestral line quite a ways back. And there are some specific individuals in my ancestral line that I don't like what they did, not in the slightest, because, I mean, you go back and admittedly the further back you get, the more tenuous the connection is too. But we're descendants of the Fairhair dynasty, which actually makes us descendants of Olaf Digre. If you're familiar with Digre, you'll be also familiar, that's the same bloodline as Olaf Tryggvason, the two guys that are most responsible for Christianizing Norway. Read your Heimskringla and it will fill you in on all of the gory, very gory details. The Northern Crusades were a thing that went on during that period of time. And see, I'm not particularly thrilled about this for obvious reasons, especially being so big in the heathen community now. But it doesn't change the fact that this is where I come from. This is my ancestry. This is in my line. But one of the things, if you followed the channel before, you realize that I've talked before about the whole 3 generations to 5 generations back. These are the ones that are actually more interested in your day-to-day interactions than any else. Those are the ones to whom you have the closest ties. And so those are going to be your strongest pull. Beyond that, it's simply venerating the ancestors. Now, it's great if you have long lines and can pull out individuals. That's excellent. Keep those stories and keep it well documented, keep them together, because that is, to be able to write the saga of your own family is an incredible thing. I've got bits and pieces from my grandparents' line on both sides. that I would like to eventually someday turn into some kind of narrative and kind of try to build some kind of saga of the Sjerven clan / Gerber's clan on my mom's side. Anyway, it's all complicated. But the gist is that this is the time of year when all of that is there. It's rife, ready for our connection, ready for that, to bridge that gap, because the gap is smaller than it's ever been. And that's what I like to pull to attention this time of year. That's why I like around winter nights to be able to say, hey, this is the time of year when we need to be focusing on ancestry. This is the time where we need to be giving offering to our ancestors. This is the time where we need to be telling those stories. So think about it as you're going through and you're building your winter nights, rituals and things, or winter fighting, whatever it may be, or any rituals that you may do between now and the end of Yule. Where do you want to honor specific ancestors? Tribal and hearth differences are going to be significant in this. So I can't go through and say, well, you need to do this date, and this date. It doesn't work that way. Every tribe does things a little bit differently. And if you followed the channel, you know that I'm huge into sovereignty of hearth and sovereignty of tribe. Everybody's hearth cult, everybody's tribal cult is different. And it should be. That's the essence of heathenry. So I'm excited to hear from some of y'all what your traditions are, what your processes are. How do you go about honoring your ancestors? When do you choose to do specific sets? Do you choose to do specific sets? Like Winter Nights is one of the times where dear friend of mine has lost his father this year, and this is an opportunity for us to do a minner, or a memory horn, for him. And we're very excited about that. In that it is going to be a truly deeply moving ritual, and that this is the time to do it, when that connection is so there. And I think that, fingers crossed, I'm really hoping that this ritual goes very well, both for him and for us as a tribe, because I think it's going to be amazingly cathartic. And that's the kind of thing that you can be thinking about. Is this a time where you want to honor those that have fallen throughout the year? Is this a time where you want to focus on the fathers of the lines? Do you want to focus on the mothers towards Yule? You've got a stretch of time in here to operate from. From the general kind of neo-paganry side of things, you see a main focus on the veil being thin around Samhain, or Halloween, or whatever whatever that particular group celebrates around this time of year. And it's just the start of the process. The veil is thin all the way through. That's why the Wild Hunt runs through this period of time. This is the time where the spirit realm is closer than any other, during the dark times of the year. And I see at the end of Yule, and keep in mind, this is my own UPG, this is my own insights, make of that what you will, but through the dark times of the year is when the veil is thinner, and this is the time to make that connection. So we like to do some very heavy symbols during this time of year, where we really dig in there and get some of that ancestry aspect going on. We do a little bit more focus on the ancestry and ritual and the way that we go about that, because this is when I can feel that connection stronger than any other time. This is when it's more real, more there. So anyway, that's kind of the gist this Winter Nights, is what I wanted to throw out. One, glad Winter Nights to everyone. And two, may your ancestors smile on you. In the meantime, stay tuned. More to come as my schedule permits. And thank you all for bearing with me. Hail to you all, and may your hearth fires burn bright. Okay, hopefully the episode went well. I don't know. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey hasn't actually happened yet, so spoilers. I gotta get back into Doctor Who. I haven't picked it up since I think we stopped midway through the Capaldi run. Life just got busy and I haven't had a chance to go back. So my intention is to go back, because I've missed the entire female Doctor's run, and so bad that I don't even remember her name. And I'm a huge Whovian. I love Doctor Who. Fourth will always be my Doctor. Tom Baker was my man back in the day. So yes, big Doctor Who fan. Anyway, it's beside the point. Rambling and whatnot. I'm going to attempt to keep this kind of short today, because I only have a limited time. So yeah, hopefully I have succeeded. I don't know. This is still before the episode takes place, so it's weird. Anyway, D&D, there hasn't been a whole lot of new D&D stuff. I did that one session where I derailed my players by dangling a carrot in front of the rogue and letting him go, over this way for a while because I was trying to delay the party a little bit so that I could have some key players back before I introduced the next character, who is a main plot point character and is somebody who I wanted everybody to be there for. So I utilized the whole distract the rogue thing to kind of redirect my my party. That's where I sent him through the sewers and had him hunting down the Thieves Guild. How do you distract the rogue? You get a better rogue. Just flies all over them, and they have to, especially if you have them steal something that's like plot point specific, and they have to follow it. Good stuff. So they had a blast. It was good. It was fun, but yeah. Not a whole lot in the D&D realm yet. There will be, but life is just crazy right now. I talked at the beginning of the show a little bit about what's been going on training-wise and everything like that, but still, I'm doing what I can. I'm staying upright and moving forward, so I have very limited time, though, because I'm on lunch break, so let's go ahead and get into the actual episode, shall we? All right, we're live in 3, 2, 1. Let's jam.